Hi everyone, and welcome to our Museum Buddy project. I'm Mariana.
And I'm Jess.
So Jess and I were connected through Museum Buddy to explore how neurodiversity is represented in museums. And together we came up with a list of objects which we feel represent or engage with neurodiversity in some way.
So we contacted various people with experience of neurodiversity to share their thoughts on the objects we selected, and we'll be sharing their thoughts each day by film, and each day we'll be sharing one, focusing on one specific object.
So our first object of the list we put together is a child's bib printed with "MMR is safe, tell your friends," which is an object held at the Science Museum.
The object is it's on display in the medicine galleries, in the new gallery at the Science Museum. So in 1988, Andrew Wakefield, who was a doctor, not anymore, falsely claimed a link with autism and the MMR injection, which has still had an impact today. We now know that his research was false, but people still know of his research. It had quite a big impact. Due to the pandemic at the moment, I'm hoping with the new vaccination for COVID that will not allow for his research to resurface. For me, the bib still looks new. Like I don't think a baby's worn it. It's way too clean for a baby to have worn it. But I think it's interesting how an infant could have worn the bib at, say, a playgroup or a cafe with the words MMR is safe, tell your friends. It's like the baby being activist to tell his or her friends that the MMR injection is safe.
Yeah, I think, that's a really good point. And the idea of the activist baby is really funny because also neurodiversity is a political issue in this sense and I think that's what particularly interests me about this object, because it symbolises how neurodiversity intersects with many topical issues. And like you said about how vaccination and that whole issue now is coming up again, that kind of thing might be brought up. I think that kind of like what is upsetting about like Andrew Wakefield's actions in particular is not just the fact that his claim was false, but it also, it's kind of like he didn't really consider how this might impact the lives of people with autism and their families, and how it might create like further stigma in society against autistic people. And essentially he's kind of just like weaponizing autism for his own personal motivations. And I think that, the anti-vaccination movement kind of more widely has painted autism as a kind of curse which should be avoided at all costs, which does, really sadly reveal, how some people in society consider autism a problem which needs to be avoided or fixed. And I actually think that we should focus on creating a more inclusive society rather than kind of keeping that discussion ongoing. And I also think a point that I really want to make is Bennett Goldacre, who worked at the Guardian, and I think he designed this bib. Neither him nor Andrew Wakefield are actually autistic. And I think in this conversation, we actually need to see more autistic people centered in the conversation, and also in other museum objects related to this topic, because, on both sides of this strange debate, you hardly ever see autistic people and their voices heard. And I actually think they're the ones that are going to be most affected by it. So I think